All right, man. We back in the building. We back in the building. Let's make sure we got this audio right. We good with the audio. Had a little bit of difficulty going on earlier, so. But anyway, what's up, man? We back in the building. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel because we got to talk about this Diddy trial. What she about to beat? That's just my opinion. I don't know. Everybody else got their own little smoking opinion about this, but to me, I think Diddy about to actually knock this out, go home. They probably gonna give him the less charge because as far as we've been seeing, there ain't nothing been on some RICO. Nothing. I haven't seen nothing RICO, no drug trafficking on trafficking from state to state, none of that stuff. So we got to talk about this, man. So y'all already know the vibe. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video. Let's get this show started. Yo, 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 yo. If they know, they know. It's your boy Smoke News TV. We back in the building. Smash that thumbs up. It ain't gonna hurt your feelings. It ain't gonna cost you. Make sure you keep that notification bell so you know when I'm dropping my video. Shout out to Team Smoke Gang. Try to get your membership. Shout out to all the supporters out there that been supporting the channel since day one. Appreciate y'all. And yeah, let's get this copyright out the way, man. Copyright fair use disclaimer. You can find that in my description on my channel. Everything that I speak on over here is for educational and entertainment purpose. Again, copyright fair use disclaimer. You can find it in my description on my channel. Everything that I speak on over here is for absolutely educational and entertainment purpose. The clips and videos I play also owned by the original creators. And if y'all don't know what's going on, we're gonna get straight to it. We ain't gonna be here too long. We got Diddy over here defense, obviously, didn't get no witness on their behalf to take the stand to try to defend Diddy, or Diddy not even taking the stand also. So there's no witness coming from Diddy team that's gonna take the stand. But the people that we got was straight giving us straight BS. No criminal charges, no, the only thing they gave us was what, the escort thing, and the escort, Mr. Punisher over here switched the whole narrative and say that Cassie made him do A, B, C, and D. Yeah, that part. What are we talking about? See, they brought the escort, Mr. Punisher, on the stand to try to talk about the participate, whatever, being down on sexual activities that he didn't want to do, but Diddy forcing him to do. But it switched on him because he absolutely said, like, listen, everything that I was told to do was coming from Cassie. She participated in everything. She was down with everything. She was telling me to do A, B, C, and D to her while Diddy was sitting on the goddamn corner over there on the couch. This is what the Punisher was basically saying. So that's number one. Where RICO charge coming from that? Nowhere. Number two, they put Cassie on the witness stand because they wanted to get her out the way early because she was already about to deliver her baby that she was already pregnant by her husband. They couldn't wait no longer. So they brought her, which I think they made a mistake on because I believe that she could have told her more on a criminal note that she know about. But see, it goes back. Let's pedal back. If she knew anything on a criminal note, she had to take a little bit of immunity. But she didn't even speak about no criminal activities that she know of. Drug trafficking, bringing sex workers and paying them, and they doing outrageous stuff and drugs and all. That's all criminal shit right there. Then you traveling from state to state on an airline private jet, bringing all these type of people back and forth. She didn't speak about that. She spoke about more domestic violence. That should have went across the street to the goddamn store, to the state court. Federality is more criminal. When you put a RICO on a case, a RICO on somebody's name, they want criminal activities. They're trying to smoke them out the park, smoke them out their boots, trying to money laundry, criminal, drug criminal, anything that got to do with any type of street activities, murders, all that allegedly, that's all RICO right there. Murder to hire. That's something we was looking for. We thought, oh yeah, the Biggie case gonna come back. Tupac case gonna come back. Man, we ain't getting none of that shit. What are we talking about here? Where's Mr. Gene over there? Mr. Big Gene over there. Gene Deal. Shout out to him. No disrespect. Respectfully. Why you ain't on the stand over there talking criminal activities and alleging all the stuff that Diddy was involved in back in the Bad Boy early days? Or 2000, all the way till you left, basically. For all the stuff you were saying in your documentaries and all the interviews, saying that you see him do so many criminal activities, but you ain't take the stand. This shit doesn't make no sense to me. And that's why I'm gonna go back to what I was saying. Y'all don't waste that. Everybody goddamn taxpayers from New York wasted their time, wasted Diddy time, because y'all basically could have took this across the street and made it a more of a state case. Take it to the state court, not the federale court. This is a waste of time right here. But before we continue, when you bite the hand that feeds you, I said this in my old Diddy videos, whatever, in the old ones when they first started. When he went against that liquor company that was giving him about 60, 70 million a year off the Ciroc, because he's a great promotion guy, promoted Ciroc like we thought that shit was his at one point. When you cross the hand that feeds you and you start saying racial slurs about them and this and that, and oh, they don't want me to drop my liquor and this and that, and what the hell do you think that's gonna happen? You think them people, them powerful people that's in the back end that got you in that position, gonna let you talk all that crazy shit on television, live television as that? Okay, they put a RICO on there to shake you up and think that they had so many criminal activities against you, which we've been seeing for the last month and some change. This should been nothing but a domestic crazy ass freak off case. That's all this shit been about. No murder conspiracies, no murder to hires, no drug trafficking, no sex workers saying that they was doing this, they was getting paid to do this, that, and the third. They brought one escort, the Punisher, the Mr. Punisher guy. He switched the whole narrative, made it seem like Cassie was down with everything and that she told him to do everything A, B, C, and D. Where's the criminal activities at? I don't see it nowhere. But let's get to the news clip, man. Yeah, let's get to the news clip so y'all can see what the hell's going on here. Y'all can understand more, man, because I don't see no criminal activities going on here, to be honest. I really don't. This shit is a waste of people tax money, to be honest. Hold on, let me download this right quick, man. I thought I already had this on there, but it's placed. Let's play it over here to TMZ clip where they talking about this also. Shout out to Harvey over there to TMZ. Copyright fair use is definitely in effect, man.
And the other thing that they are banking on is that the jury is not going to buy the prosecution. And the other thing that they are banking on is that the jury is not going to buy allegations that Diddy violated the Mann Act. The Mann Act is simply bringing a sex worker across state lines for commercial purposes for the purpose of prostitution. I'm not saying I'm buying this, but their argument is the sex workers themselves testified they were not paid for sex. They were paid for their time and the discretion of keeping it private. That is a tough one for the defense, but it's what they're going to argue.
Now, I'll let y'all heard that. They said they was paid for their time and for their service to chill and all this, that, and the third. This what Harvey saying. Now, y'all remember, this nigga's a ex-lawyer, whatever. Shout out to TMZ and them. He know the deal. So he's saying it's not me. No, I'm not saying this. I'm not saying that. But if you read between the lines, where's the criminal activities? Where the RICO shit? Where's all that? The spicy shit that we heard in the beginning of the situation when they came to arrest Diddy and they raided his goddamn house. We ain't hearing nothing yet. Nothing. No murder to hires, allegedly. No murder conspiracies, allegedly. No old shit that we've been hearing for the last 20 years that Diddy was doing out there in them streets. The stories that Big Gene was telling us. They ain't bringing out one goddamn story in the court yet that Big Gene been telling us for the last 10 years. If y'all know who Big Gene is, respectfully, no disrespect, Big Gene. But the criminal shit you've been telling us about Diddy, and you made fortunes out of these goddamn stories. Where's them stories out on the court that's going on now? This is where I'm gonna go to. See, people gotta wake up here. People gotta wake up, really, seriously. This is an opportunity now. If they want to take somebody down like a Diddy, they could smoke his boots right now. Smoke him. With all the narratives and the allegation we've been hearing with the murder to hires with the Tupac, allegedly, him being involved with Biggie Smalls getting knocked off in LA, allegedly, all types of other murders that we allege that we heard him that he could possibly be involved in. Why they not bringing these people on the stand to make it seem like he's this crazy monster that Big Gene and everybody else was talking about for the last 10 years? And I'm not talking freak offs. I'm not talking relationship problems and toxic relationship where both of them put hands on each other. Cause sometimes the ladies could bug out and start swinging also. Nigga, there's nobody perfect in that relationship. No man should put his hands on a female. I would agree on that 100%. But sometimes ladies do bug out also. Who's with to say Cassie ain't bug out? Who's with to say the other females that he been around ain't bug out? You got to remember, we talking about a billionaire mogul coming from New York City named Sean Combs. You don't think no female's gonna bug out once in a while over this nigga because they see him with other females, kumbayaing with them and shit, chilling with them? Let's like, come on, let's make it sense. Let's make this make sense now. Cut the shenanigans out. So what I go back to saying, where's the criminal activities at? Where's Big Gene at on the stand? Where's him and several people like him that accuse Diddy of doing all these criminal RICO shit, but we haven't heard nothing yet? Then Diddy team is looking like, man, we ain't bringing nobody on the stand because that niggas ain't got nothing. What y'all niggas is over here talking is nothing but doodle and wasting time and wasting New York taxpayers, nigga. That's what y'all doing right now. He say, she say bullshit and text messages. And you know what's crazy? When the prosecutor bring a text message try to attack Diddy, his lawyers come back and say, "Well, Cassie participated in this. Look at the text message she sent to Diddy. When we gonna do another freak off? I'm ready. I'm down with this. I'm going to do this." Everything she texted Diddy saying that she's down to do it. She's down. She's ready. That's no threat. That's not you saying, "Girl, if you don't do this, this and that and the third, I'm gonna do this." There's no criminal shit going involved. It's everybody down with the party. When we got the white boy that took the stand recently, Mr. Paul over there, the prosecutors and everybody thought he was gonna talk about drug trafficking, state to state, and all this. Bring the connect up. Yo, who Diddy was getting his drugs from? He ain't bring none of that shit up. None of that. The main thing that Mr. Paul was over here talking, the white guy that took the stand recently, before the weekend hit, he took the stand pause on Friday, I think, if I ain't mistaken. The video I just did recently, he was on the stand making it seem like more like he was a worker and not no worker that he's out there bugging out and selling his body, allegedly, a worker that he's doing getting paid per hour. He took the stand and said, "Yeah, I had to do this after the party was over. I had to clean up. You know, he was paying me. I had sleepless nights. He was paying me per hour, and this and that." Nigga was on the payroll. He was on the goddamn payroll. And then hold up, this the icing on the cake with Mr. Paul. Diddy fired this nigga. He dragged his ass back to Diddy and said he promised he won't mess up again. Let me get my job back. Did he not say that? I sit back and wait on that. We heard the news clip and all that. Y'all gotta go do your own research or play my last video. Mr. Paul said, yeah, Mr. Diddy fired me, but I came back and asked him, please, can I get my job back? He was getting paid or he was on the payroll. So what criminal activity Mr. Paul was talking up there on the stand? Nothing. No connections, no extra person that we know about on a criminal note. This whole goddamn time we've been hearing about somebody putting hands and feet on his relationship and his females he's involved with and shit and crazy ass freak off they private time. Not in the public when they doing TV shows and shit about it. No. This is private sessions. This is after parties. That's all we've been hearing about. Baby oil and dumb shit like that. Come on, man. Where's the RICO getting charged on this? But let's get to the news clicker. We ain't done. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video, like one up. Y'all already know the vibes, man.
Back now with breaking news in the federal sex trafficking trial against Sean Diddy. Back now with breaking news in the federal sex trafficking trial against Sean Diddy Combs. Prosecutors have rested their case against the music mogul, wrapping up 29 days of testimony from more than 30 witnesses. The government claims Combs leveraged his businesses to operate a criminal enterprise. Combs has pleaded not guilty to all charges in the case and today decided not to take the stand. NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Malas is outside the courthouse in New York City. So, Chloe, did we hear at all from Combs about the decision not to testify? And what else happened in court today?
Hey there. Well, just moments ago, the judge asking Combs if it was his decision to not testify. And it seemed as though he was eager to talk, right? That he had been silent for so many days. And really, he had to be careful about not making any sort of facial expressions because he was admonished a few weeks ago by the judge at kind of making eye contact with certain jury members. And today he said several sentences. He also told the judge that he was doing a good job. And he said that it was his decision, along with his lawyers, to not testify, and he seemed in good spirits. And as for what's happening now, earlier we had Combs' defense team do something called a Rule 29 motion, where they have asked the judge to declare a mistrial, dismiss the case or certain charges from the case because they have tried to prove that the government did not meet their burden and that they have not proven their side of things and their case. Has said that he reserves his decision, and we might be seeing that in some sort of written ruling later this week.
So, Chloe, when do we think this heads to the jury?
I mean, potentially Friday afternoon. We have to get through closing arguments first. So you're going to have prosecutors right out of the gate. They have 4 hours to make their final plea to the jury, but it's not really their final plea, and I'll get to that in a second. Then in the afternoon, Combs' team will have 4 hours for their defense. But Friday morning, you could see the prosecutors do something called their rebuttal. The prosecutors, because they have that burden of proof on their side, they get the final word to the jurors. So then if all goes according to plan, like I said, Friday afternoon, the jury could be charged and have the case. But again, nothing ever goes according to plan. And we've seen that in this trial in particular, things get pushed back. So we could also see the jury not get this case until Monday.
Well, we know you'll stay on it. Chloe Malas.
Now, back to what I was saying. So his lawyers are telling them, because we ain't done. We got 2 more clips to go. His lawyers are basically telling him, they put a motion in, motion 29 or some shit like that. Hold up, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video. Do me that favor. It ain't going to hurt your feelings. It ain't going to cost you. So they put a motion in saying that, listen, they haven't proven nothing, nada. As far as a RICO criminal, this the shit that's getting me upset because they wasted our time with this shit. They could have took this shit across the street to the state court. Diddy would have been facing 5 to 10 years for all the domestic shit they was talking about in the court. I sit back and wait on that. Am I lying on that? Anybody that know the system, they know the court, they know the law. Exactly. He would have been facing 5 to 10 years for all the domestic shit that they had. They even had a video of this nigga in the hotel putting hands on her. That's state court. They could have took that across the street. But see, they wanted to get greedy. They thought, and we all was like, yo, they just stacking it up. They building a case. Remember in the beginning when I first did this video? See, that's why I laugh at some people when they be swearing they right sometimes. Yo, they stacking it up. Nah, Smoke, they stacked the case up. They're talking about the hands and feet and all this on Cassie. And I'm telling you, stack way. I'm telling you, Smoke way. They stacking it up, man. Listen, I told y'all, chat, respectfully. I told y'all. The only thing this shit is about is embarrasses his image, character. If he do beat this case, he ain't gonna be launching off the way his career gonna be, because people still gonna look at him sideways. A lot of his connections gonna be going. This is a whole disembarrassed Diddy. That's all it's about. That's all this about. Because when you got a state case compared to a RICO case, it's two different cases. RICO, you got to prove the criminal, everything, laundry, money laundry, whatever you got to prove that shit. We ain't see none of that. None of that. And I told y'all this was a whole embarrassed Diddy campaign in the court. That's all this shit was about. Embarrassed Diddy. Embarrass them. All the little documentaries they made them, Hulu and all that shit, Peacock and all that. Tubi, they made so many documentaries. Lifetime, surviving Mr. Diddy and all this. Come on, man. This is a whole embarrassment. That's all it was about. Think about the documentaries that they was dropping about Diddy. Just sit back and think about it. There was nothing criminal about none of them documentaries they was talking about. They was just saying him, he say, she say. But most of the documentaries was all about the freak offs, relationships he had with his girlfriends, toxic, the domestic violence between him and his relationship and all that, like they've been doing in his case so far and in the trial. That's all we've been hearing. We've been seeing for the last, what, damn near a year and a half already. Are y'all serious right now? For everybody that knows a RICO, RICO is criminal. It's supposed to smoke you out your boots. Give you about 20 years or some shit unless your ass going rat. RICO don't play. So if we do see this nigga get found guilty, the jury's not gonna find him guilty on a criminal note. They just not. It's not gonna happen. I'm sorry to tell you, it's just not. I don't see it. I might be wrong, but I don't see it. But let's continue though, man. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel.
The prosecution rested their case. One of Diddy's attorneys, Alexandra Shapiro, came up and made a motion for a judgment of acquittal on all counts. She went count by count explaining why they believe the prosecutors did not prove each alleged crime. The racketeering conspiracy count, she said that the prosecutors failed to show that anybody conspired with Diddy, saying there's at best thin proof that any of the other employees willingly participated in crimes with and for Mr. Combs. She said the exception was procuring small quantities of substances for his personal use. She also said his assistants didn't know much, if anything, about what went on between Mr. Combs and his girlfriends in the hotel rooms. Shapiro argued that Combs actually took steps to conceal the nature of actual activity he was engaging in from his employees. He said it was evident through the fact that Diddy, Cassie, and Jane booked entertainers and escorts instead of Diddy's employees. He also brought up text messages that were shown to the jury today where Diddy and Jane Doe would bring entertainers but telling them to avoid Diddy's staff. Again, I say they were doing that because Cassie's lawsuit was already out, so it's the perfect example to show that something was happening publicly where Diddy didn't want this coming out either, and that's why he was being more secretive. But that's just my argument. Now, CNN did say that these motions are almost always denied. The judge still hasn't made a ruling on it, but let's continue. Alexandra Shapiro also argued that there's no evidence that KK, who was Diddy's chief of staff, knew or believed that Diddy's girlfriends were being coerced against their will. He said there's no evidence that KK participated in facilitating any crimes for Diddy except potentially substances for personal use. Argue that some messages showed Diddy sometimes lied to KK even though she was alleged to be his co-conspirator. Noted that the prosecutors alleged that the conspiracy began in 2004, but KK did not become significantly involved until around 2016. She also went on to say that the government did not prove S trafficking charges related to Cassie, saying prosecutors failed to show that Diddy knowingly coerced Cassie into commercial S acts. He said the jury did not see any text messages to Diddy that would indicate Cassie did not want to participate in the FOs. He tells the judge a person in Mr. Combs' position clearly would have understood that, on the contrary, she enjoyed the actual activity and did not feel coerced. He describes Diddy's relationship with Cassie toxic for many reasons and acknowledged that Diddy was regrettably violent towards her at times, but reiterated that the defense's argument that DV is not S trafficking. He even argued that the evidence showed Cassie was not coerced by violence into participating in FOs, and that when Combs became violent with her during these events, she left. After all of this, the judge tells her he'll reserve his decision on the motion, so we don't know what he's going to decide, but again, usually this does get denied. The judge then asked Diddy how he was feeling. He says, "I'm doing great, Your Honor. I've been wanting to tell you thank you. You're doing an excellent job." The judge apparently chuckled and said, "Thank you, I appreciate it." The judge then asked him if he understood his right to not testify. He said, "Yes, Your Honor," and responded twice. The judge then asked if he had talked to his lawyer about testifying. He said, "That is solely my decision," and then added, "I mean, it's my decision with my lawyers." The judge then asked if he understood that it was his decision to make. He said, "Yes, My decision, I'm making it. I will have one more video today because they took a short break and now.
So as y'all see what's going on here, I told y'all, Diddy lawyers ain't playing, man. They playing no games. Diddy got Brian Steele. I mean, he got the top-notch lawyers you can have out there. And they was attacking the prosecutor and telling the judge, like, yo, listen, we not, this not a state case. We're not here for the domestic and the toxic relationship and the free calls they was doing on their private time. That's their life. We here for a RICO charge. Where's the criminal shit that's going on? Where was the criminal activity that Casey supposed to be flying state to state, moving drugs and all this and females? And come on, man. She ain't speak about that shit either. Cassie, whatever the hell goddamn name. Cassie, whatever the hell. I probably pronounced her name over on this whole video, whatever. Because they made a mistake by putting her on the stand right away, to be honest. They should have waited like, we're gonna put her on the stand last, and I mean, so she could explain the criminal shit and all that. Cause like I said, before I get out of here, that girl knew, and she knows allegedly about the criminal activities if Diddy was doing. That was his little kumbaya, shoulder to shoulder, ride or die chick. And I sit back and wait on that. Y'all can go do y'all research on old girl. Old girl, man, listen, man, she was riding, dying for Diddy. So if there was any criminal shit going on, she knows about that. But see, she didn't mention about it on the stand because she got immunity also, and people forgot about that. So she don't want to make herself look all crazy on the stand either, doing criminal shit with Diddy that she know about. And then the drugs and all that. Look, Diddy lawyer came back and said, man, that's personal use. Y'all heard Mr. Paul. Mr. Paul said, man, yeah, I picked up some stuff or I had some stuff, but it was for the party, personal use. Mr. Paul even said that shit. The dude that took the stand on Friday. Like, where's the RICO before I get out of here? Where's the RICO at, man? I don't see it. I don't see it. So the jury's going to make a verdict probably about Thursday or Friday, the judge and the juries and all that stuff, whatever. The case is basically over. So for all the people that thought that they was going to stack a criminal shit on them, it's over with. There's no more witnesses coming on the stand. Nobody to prove that he was moving pounds of stuff, pills, whatever the hell y'all want to say, or moving that score from state to state. They don't listen, they messed this whole case up. If the juries are smart, they'll be like, yo, listen, the main thing they showed us throughout this whole case is his relationship being toxic and him doing his private life shit behind closed doors. That's all they really proved to us. If I was on the jury, I'd be like, yo, that's all they really proved to us. We ain't see no moving pounds. We ain't see nothing crazy illegal. Money laundering, none of that shit. We ain't see nothing. I don't know, man. Maybe I might be wrong. Maybe y'all could correct me in the comment and let me know if I'm I smoke. They gonna get him 20 years. I don't see it, y'all. I just don't. I don't. I don't see it at all. Well, maybe I might be wrong, but like I said, we're gonna find out to be continue on to the next video. We're gonna see what's gonna go on with this situation when the juries come back and come with a decision. But till then, I'm out of here. Smash that like button, that thumbs up ain't gonna hurt your feelings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I don't know what you're waiting on, to be honest. Yeah. Smash that like. I'm up out of here, man. Y'all already know the vibes, man. It's your boy Smoke News TV, man. If they know, they know. Salute, gang. I'm out of here, man.